The Outpost's outcasts. The recycled air of Outpost Zeta 9 carried a perpetual hint of ozone and stale coffee. Sarah Chen, known to most as Glitch, preferred it to the sterile atmosphere of the more prestigious space stations she'd left behind. Here, at least, the imperfections were honest. Glitch's fingers danced across her console, coaxing the outpost's temperamental systems into cooperation. A strand of her jet-black hair had escaped its tight bun, tickling her cheek as she worked. She brushed it aside, leaving a smudge of grease on her pale skin. "Come on, you cantankerous pile of circuits," she muttered, her voice barely audible over the hum of machinery. "Just because we're in the ass end of space doesn't mean you get to slack off." A sudden tremor shook the station, causing lights to flicker and alarms to blare momentarily. Glitch sighed, knowing exactly what, or rather who, had caused the disturbance. "Tremor," she shouted into her comm. "What did you blow up this time?" The gruff voice of Marcus Rodriguez, Zeta 9's head of security, crackled through the speaker. "Wasn't me this time, Glitch. Looks like the grav plating in Section C is acting up again." Glitch pinched the bridge of her nose. "Right, because that's exactly what we need today. I'll be right there." As she gathered her tools, Dr. Ava Patel, affectionately known as Jitters due to her perpetually nervous demeanor, poked her head into the control room. Her wide brown eyes darted around nervously before settling on Glitch. "Everything okay?" Jitters asked, her fingers fidgeting with the hem of her lab coat. "I felt the shake all the way in medbay. No injuries, I hope." Glitch offered a reassuring smile. "Just the station throwing another tantrum. Want to tag along? I could use an extra pair of hands, and it beats staring at empty medbeds all day." Jitters nodded eagerly, falling into step beside Glitch as they made their way through the station's winding corridors. The trio of Glitch, Tremor, and Jitters had formed an unlikely friendship since being assigned to Zeta 9. They were the outcasts, the misfits that other outposts were all too happy to offload onto this remote corner of space. Glitch had earned her nickname from her uncanny ability to find unconventional solutions to technical problems, solutions that often involved bending regulations to their breaking point. Tremor's heavy-handed approach to security had resulted in more than a few diplomatic incidents, and Jitters, brilliant as she was, had a bedside manner that left much to be desired, her anxiety often spreading to her patients. They found Tremor in Section C, his imposing frame hunched over an open panel. Despite the situation, Glitch couldn't help but smirk at the sight of the burly security officer delicately manipulating circuitry with his massive hands. "Trying to massage it back to life, big guy," Glitch quipped, kneeling beside him. Tremor grunted, a sound that could have been either amusement or annoyance. "Figured I'd give it a shot before you work your voodoo on it. This bucket of bolts hates me less than the rest of the gear around here." Jitters hovered nearby, her eyes darting between the open panel and the corridor, as if expecting trouble to materialize at any moment. "Should we inform Commander Reeves? This seems like something she'd want to know about." Glitch and Tremor exchanged a look. Commander Elena Reeves, the outpost's CO, was known for her by-the-book approach and her thinly veiled disdain for their unorthodox methods. "Let's see if we can fix it first," Glitch decided. No need to give her another reason to breathe down our necks. As they worked, the conversation drifted to the latest station gossip. Jitters, despite her anxious nature, had a knack for picking up on the subtlest whispers and rumors. "Did you hear about the signals Astro picked up last week?" she asked, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Tremor raised an eyebrow. "What signals?" "Some kind of repeating pattern from the Epsilon sector," Jitters explained. "They're saying it doesn't match any known communication protocols, human or alien." Glitch's hand stilled for a moment. "Huh. That's interesting. Any official word on it?" Jitters shook her head. "Nothing. It's like they're pretending it never happened. But I overheard Lieutenant Kim talking about increased patrols in that area. Probably just some space junk reflecting signals," Tremor said with a shrug, but there was a hint of uncertainty in his voice. Before they could discuss it further, the panel beneath Glitch's hand sparked violently. She jerked back, narrowly avoiding a nasty burn. "Damn it," she hissed, shaking out her hand. "Okay, Plan B, Jitters. Can you get me the prototype grav modulator from my lab? The one command pretends doesn't exist." Jitters nodded and scurried off, returning moments later with a device that looked like a cross between a blender and a disco ball. Glitch grinned as she took it, her eyes gleaming with the excitement of imminent rule-breaking. "You sure about this?" Tremor asked, eyeing the device warily. "Last time you used that thing, we had artificial gravity in the ceiling for a week." "Positive," Glitch assured him, already connecting the modulator to the open panel. "I've worked out the kinks. Mostly." As she activated the device, a low hum filled the air. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a lurch that sent them all stumbling, gravity reasserted itself throughout the section. "Ha!" Glitch exclaimed triumphantly. "Told you it would work." Their celebration was short-lived. Commander Reeves' voice crackled over the station-wide comm system, her tone clipped and urgent. "All senior staff report to the command center immediately. This is not a drill. Repeat, all senior staff to command." The three friends exchanged worried glances. Despite their status as outcasts, they were, technically, part of the senior staff. "Well," Tremor said, his hand instinctively moving to the sidearm at his hip, "guess the vacation's over." As they hurried toward the command center, Glitch couldn't shake the feeling that their lives were about to change dramatically. The mysterious signals, the urgent summons, it all pointed to something big, and on Outpost Zeta 9, big usually meant trouble. Little did they know, their reputation as the station's misfits was about to be put to the ultimate test. The skills that had made them outcasts might just be what was needed to face the looming threat. As the doors to the command center hissed open, Glitch, Tremor, and Jitters steeled themselves for whatever lay ahead. The outpost outcasts were about to become its last line of defense. First contact, last resort. The command center of Outpost Zeta 9 buzzed with nervous energy as Glitch, Tremor, and Jitters entered. Commander Elena Reeves stood at the central holotable, her usually impeccable uniform showing signs of hasty dressing. The stern lines of her face were etched with worry, a sight that sent a chill through the trio. "Good, you're here," Reeves said, her voice taut. "We have a situation." The holotable flickered to life, displaying a three-dimensional map of the space surrounding Zeta 9. A cluster of red dots pulsed ominously at the edge of the sector. Lieutenant Kim, head of communications, cleared his throat. "The signals we detected last week. They weren't space junk. We've got multiple vessels approaching, and they're not responding to any of our hails." Glitch exchanged a quick glance with Jitters, who looked like she might faint at any moment. Tremor's hand had not left his sidearm since they entered. "Do we have any idea who they are?" Glitch asked, leaning in to study the holographic display. Reeves shook her head. "Negative. Their ship designs don't match anything in our database. We're dealing with a completely unknown species." The weight of those words settled over the room like a heavy blanket. First contact. It was the dream of every space explorer, the reason many of them had joined the service. But not like this. Not with an armada of alien ships bearing down on an ill-equipped outpost in the farthest reaches of human space. "What are our orders?" Tremor asked, his gruff voice cutting through the tense silence. Reeves' expression tightened. "We've sent out a distress call, but the nearest reinforcements are days away. For now, we're on our own." As if on cue, the entire station shuddered. Alarms blared, and the holotable's display erupted with new information. "They're scanning us," Kim shouted over the noise. "Intense energy readings. I think they're charging weapons." Panic erupted in the command center. Junior officers scrambled to their stations, shouting status reports and desperate questions. Commander Reeves stood frozen, her eyes wide with shock and fear. In that moment of chaos, something shifted in Glitch. the perpetual troublemaker, the one always skirting the edges of protocol, suddenly felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. She looked at Tremor and Jitters, seeing the sane realization dawning in their eyes. If they didn't act, everyone on this station was as good as dead. Tremor. Glitch's voice cut through the din. Get to the weapons systems. See what you can do to boost our shields. The big man nodded, already moving. On it. Jitters, we need medbay prepped for potential casualties. And see if you can synthesize some comm stims. I have a feeling we're all going to need them. Despite her trembling hands, Jitters' voice was steady. I won't let you down. Glitch turned to the communication station. Kim, keep trying to hail them. Use every frequency, every protocol we've got. If there's a chance for peaceful contact, we need to take it. As her friends rushed to their tasks, Glitch approached Commander Reeves. The older woman's face was ashen, her usual confidence shattered by the unprecedented situation. Commander, Glitch said softly, placing a hand on Reeves' arm. We need you. What are your orders? Reeves blinked, focusing on Glitch's face. For a moment, the technician thought she saw a flicker of her old fire. Then, to Glitch's horror, Reeves shook her head. I can't, Reeves whispered. This is beyond anything we're prepared for. We should surrender. Try to save as many lives as we can. Glitch felt her heart sink. She respected Reeves, had always admired her dedication to protocol and procedure. But now, when they needed leadership most, the commander was faltering. With all due respect, Ma'am, Glitch said, her voice low but firm. We can't do that. We don't know their intentions. Surrender could mean death for everyone on this station. Reeves didn't respond, her gaze drifting back to the holotable's ominous display. Glitch took a deep breath, knowing what she had to do. All right, listen up, she shouted, drawing every eye in the command center. I know we're scared. I know this isn't what any of us signed up for. But right now, we're all that stands between these aliens and every human outpost in this sector. She pointed to the holotable. We've got unknown hostiles incoming, but we've also got the best damn crew in the fleet. Weapons, I want every defense system we have online and ready. Engineering, divert all non-essential power to shields and life support. Comms, keep trying to make contact, but be ready to send out a warning to every human ship and station in range. As she spoke, Glitch saw the fear in her crewmates' eyes being replaced by determination. They moved to their stations with purpose, the chaos of moments ago transforming into coordinated action. What about me? A small voice asked. Glitch turned to see Jitters, who hadn't left for medbay yet. Glitch managed a small smile. I need you to be our secret weapon, Doc. If we end up in close quarters with these aliens, your knowledge of xenobiology might be the edge we need. Work with what data we can gather from the scans. Jitters nodded, a hint of excitement breaking through her nervousness. I'll do my best. As the crew bustled around her, Glitch felt a presence at her side. It was Tremor, returned from his task at the weapons systems. Shields are at maximum, he reported. It's not much, but it'll buy us some time. He paused, looking at her with a mixture of amusement and respect. Never thought I'd see the day when you were giving the orders, Glitch. She chuckled darkly. Yeah, well, let's hope I don't screw it up as badly as I usually screw up the station's systems. Before Tremor could respond, Kim's voice rang out. Incoming transmission. They're hailing us. The command center fell silent as a harsh, guttural voice filled the air. The language was unlike anything they'd ever heard, a series of clicks and rumbles that sent shivers down Glitch's spine. Can we get a translation? She asked. Kim shook his head. The computer's working on it, but it'll take time. Wait, there's something coming through in English. I think they've decrypted our language databases. The alien voice spoke again, this time in halting, mechanical English. Humans of Zeta-9. We are the Kronex. Existence offends us. Surrender now, and your deaths will be swift. Resist, and we will ensure your suffering echoes across the stars. The ultimatum hung in the air, a palpable weight pressing down on every soul in the command center. Glitch looked around, seeing the fear returning to her crewmates' eyes. Even Tremor looked shaken. In that moment, Glitch made a decision that would change the course of human history. She stepped forward, her voice steady as she addressed the Kronax. "This is Sarah Chen of Outpost Zeta 9. We will not surrender. We will not bow to threats. If you want this station, you'll have to come and take it." As she spoke, Glitch felt a surge of determination. They might be outcasts, misfits, and troublemakers, but they were humanity's first line of defense, and they would not go down without a fight. The Kronax's response was immediate and terrifying. A blinding beam of energy lanced out from the lead ship, striking Zeta 9's shields with devastating force. The station rocked violently, and for a heart-stopping moment, Glitch thought the shields would fail. But they held. Barely. "Return fire," Glitch ordered, her voice rising above the blaring alarms. "Show these Kronax bastards what happens when you pick a fight with humanity's misfits." As Zeta 9's weapons blazed to life, Glitch silently prayed that their ragtag defense would be enough. The battle for survival had begun, and the fate of humanity rested on the shoulders of the most unlikely heroes imaginable. The Kronax ultimatum. The acrid smell of burning circuits filled the air as Glitch raced through the corridors of Zeta 9. The station groaned under the assault of the Kronax weapons, each impact sending tremors through the metal floors. She skidded to a halt outside the main engineering bay, punching in her access code with trembling fingers. Inside, chaos reigned. Engineers scrambled to reroute power, patch breaches, and keep the station's vital systems online. Glitch spotted her second-in-command, a young ensign named Zora, elbow deep in an open panel. "Status report," Glitch shouted over the din. Zora looked up, her face smeared with grease and worry. "It's bad, Chief. Shields are down to 30%, and we've got hull breaches on decks 4 through 7. Life support is holding, but barely." Glitch nodded, her mind racing. "Okay, listen up. I need a team on those hull breaches now. Zara, work on rerouting power from non-essential systems to boost the shields. And somebody get me a damage report on our weapons systems." As the engineering team sprang into action, Glitch's comm crackled to life. It was Tremor. "Glitch, we've got a problem." His gruff voice came through, punctuated by the sound of weapons fire. "The Kronax ships are positioning themselves for another attack run. I don't think we can take another hit like the last one." "Understood," Glitch replied, her throat tight. "Do what you can to hold them off. I'm working on boosting our defenses." She had just cut the communication when another voice filled the station's PA system. It was the harsh, mechanical tones of the Kronax translator. "Humans of Zeta 9, the alien voice boomed. Your resistance is futile and illogical. We offer you one final chance. Surrender now, and we will allow a single escape pod to leave with your young. Continued defiance will result in total annihilation." The engineering bay fell silent, all eyes turning to Glitch. She could see the fear and uncertainty on their faces, the temptation to give in and save at least some lives. Glitch's comm beeped again. This time, it was Jitters, her voice uncharacteristically steady. "Glitch, I've been analyzing the data from our scans of the Kronax ships. There's something odd about their life signs. I need more time to figure it out, but I think I might be onto something." Before Glitch could respond, Commander Reeves' voice came through, addressing all senior staff. "I'm calling an emergency meeting in the command center. We need to discuss our response to the Kronax ultimatum." Glitch's heart sank. She knew what this meant. Reeves was considering surrender. "On my way," she replied, then turned to her team. "Keep working. Whatever happens, we need this station operational." The command center was a hive of tense activity when Glitch arrived. Tremor was already there, his usual stoic expression marred by a deep frown. Jitters rushed in moments later, clutching a datapad to her chest. Commander Reeves stood at the head of the room, her posture rigid. "We need to make a decision," she said, her voice hollow. "The Kronax have given us an opportunity to save some of our people. Perhaps it's time we consider their offer." A murmur of dissent rippled through the room. Glitch stepped forward, her eyes blazing. "With all due respect, Commander, that's not an option. We have no guarantee the Kronax will keep their word. And even if they do, we'd be condemning everyone else to death." Tremor nodded in agreement. "Not to mention, if we let them take this station, we're giving them a foothold in this sector. Every human outpost and colony would be at risk." Reeves' face hardened. "And what would you suggest? That we fight to the last man, woman, and child? We're outgunned and outnumbered. It's only a matter of time before our defenses fail completely." The room erupted into argument. Voices rising as fear and desperation clashed with determination and duty. Glitch felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. Then, a small voice cut through the chaos. "I think I found something," Jitters said, her words barely audible above the din. Glitch raised her hand, calling for silence. "What is it, Jitters?" The doctor stepped forward, her datapad projecting a holographic display of Kronax biological readings. "I've been analyzing their life signs, comparing them to our database of known species. The Kronax, they're not entirely organic." A hush fell over the room as Jitters continued. "Their biology is a mix of organic and synthetic components, highly advanced cybernetics, unlike anything we've ever seen. But here's the thing. Their organic parts are deteriorating rapidly." Tremor leaned in, his brow furrowed. "What are you saying, Doc?" "I'm saying," Jitters replied, a hint of excitement creeping into her voice, "that the Kronax might be dying. Their cybernetic parts are trying to compensate, but it's a losing battle. They're desperate." The implications of this revelation hung in the air. Glitch's mind raced, connecting the dots. "That's why they're here," she breathed. "They're not just conquerors, they're looking for a cure." Commander Reeves shook her head. "Even if that's true, it doesn't change our situation. We're still hopelessly outmatched." "Maybe not," Glitch said, an idea forming. "If the Kronax are desperate, we might be able to use that to our advantage. Jitters, is there any way we could interfere with their cybernetics?" The doctor's eyes widened. "Theoretically, yes. A properly modulated electromagnetic pulse could disrupt their systems. But we'd need to get close, and our EMP generators aren't nearly powerful enough." Glitch turned to Tremor, a glint in her eye. "What if we overloaded the station's main reactor? Create one massive EMP burst." Tremor nodded slowly, catching on. "It could work, but it would fry every system on Zeta-9. We'd be dead in the water." "Not if we time it right," Glitch countered. "We evacuate non-essential personnel to the emergency shelters, rig the reactor to overload, and then we take the fight to them." Tremor finished, a grim smile spreading across his face. Commander Reeves looked between them, disbelief warring with hope on her face. "You're talking about boarding the Kronax ships? That's insane." "Insane is what we do best, Commander," Glitch replied with a wry smile. "It's why you stuck us out here in the first place, isn't it?" For a long moment, Reeves said nothing. Then, slowly, she nodded. "All right. God help us, but all right. What's the plan?" As Glitch laid out her daring strategy, she could feel the mood in the room shifting. Fear gave way to determination, despair to hope. They were still outgunned, still facing near impossible odds. But now they had a chance, a slim, crazy chance that only a group of misfits would even consider. "All right, people," Glitch said, her voice ringing with authority she'd never known she possessed. "We've got work to do. Tremor, start prepping our boarding teams. Jitters, I need you to work with engineering to modify our personal shields to withstand the EMP. Commander, we'll need you to coordinate the evacuation to the shelters. As the team dispersed to their tasks, Glitch felt a hand on her shoulder. It was Commander Reeves. "Chen," she said softly, using Glitch's real name for the first time in years. I'm sorry. For doubting you. For nearly giving up. You've shown true leadership today." Glitch managed a small smile. "Just doing my job, Commander. We're all in this together." As Reeves walked away, Glitch allowed herself a moment to breathe. The weight of responsibility settled heavily on her shoulders, but she stood tall under it. They had a plan, they had hope, and most importantly, they had each other. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of Zeta 9, but potentially the future of humanity's place in the galaxy. As Glitch headed to engineering to begin the reactor modifications, she silently vowed to make every second count. The battle for Zeta 9 was about to enter its final desperate phase, and the universe was about to learn that sometimes the most unlikely heroes were the ones who shone brightest when the darkness closed in. Battle for Zeta 9. The corridors of Outpost Zeta 9 echoed with frantic activity as the crew prepared for their desperate gambit. Glitch stood in the reactor room, her hands steady despite the enormity of the task before her. With practiced precision, she made the final adjustments to the reactor systems, preparing it for the controlled overload that would generate their makeshift EMP. "How's it looking, Chief?" Zara asked, wiping sweat from her brow as she monitored the reactor's output. Glitch double-checked her calculations before responding. "It's as ready as it'll ever be. We'll have about 30 seconds between initiating the overload and the EMP burst. After that," she trailed off, the implications hanging heavy in the air. Her comm unit crackled to life. "Glitch, it's Tremor. Boarding teams are prepped and in position. We're just waiting on your signal." "Copy that," she replied. "Jitters, how are we looking on those personal shields?" The doctor's voice came through, tinged with nervous excitement. "I think we've got it. The modified shields should protect our essential gear from the EMP. But Glitch, I have to warn you. We're in uncharted territory here. There's no guarantee they'll work against Chronax weapons." Glitch allowed herself a grim smile. "Well, Doc, I guess we're about to find out." Commander Reeves' voice cut in. "All non-essential personnel have been evacuated to the emergency shelters. We're as ready as we'll ever be, Chen." Taking a deep breath, Glitch made her way to the command center. As the doors hissed open, she was met with the determined faces of her unlikely crew. Tremor stood by the weapons console, his massive frame tense with anticipation. Jitters fidgeted near the science station, her eyes darting between readouts. And at the center of it all stood Commander Reeves, her posture straight, a newfound respect in her eyes as she nodded to Glitch. "All right, people," Glitch said, her voice steady. "This is it. In a few moments, we're going to hit the Chronax with everything we've got. Remember your training, watch each other's backs, and no matter what happens out there, know that you're the finest crew I've ever had the honor of serving with." She turned to the communications officer. "Hail the Chronax." The harsh, mechanical voice of the alien translator filled the room once more. "Humans of Zeta 9, your time has expired. Prepare for..." Glitch cut them off. "This is Sarah Chen of Outpost Zeta 9. We've considered your offer, and we have a counter-proposal. You say our existence offends you. Well, buckle up, because we're about to get real offensive." With a nod to Zara in engineering, Glitch gave the order. "Initiate reactor overload. All hands. Brace for EMP." The lights in the command center flickered as power was diverted to the reactor. A low hum built throughout the station, rising to a crescendo as the overload reached its peak. Then, for a split second, everything went dark. The EMP burst out from Zeta 9 in an invisible wave, washing over the Chronax fleet. On the main view screen, they watched as the alien ship suddenly went dark, drifting aimlessly in space. "It worked," Jitters exclaimed, her eyes wide with disbelief. Tremor was already moving. "Boarding teams, move out. We've got a narrow window here, people. Let's make it count. Glitch, Tremor, and Jitters led the charge, racing towards the airlocks where their assault shuttles waited. As they boarded, Glitch couldn't help but marvel at the turn of events. Hours ago, they had been the outcasts, the troublemakers. Now, they were humanity's best hope for survival. The journey to the nearest Kronak ship was tense and silent. As they approached, Glitch could see the massive vessel up close for the first time. Its hull was a strange mix of organic curves and sharp metallic angles, a reflection of the hybrid nature of its creators. "Remember," Glitch said as they prepared to dock, "we're looking for their central control system. If we can access it, we might be able to broadcast the EMP frequency and take out their whole fleet at once." The docking clamps engaged with a shudder, and the boarding team moved out. The interior of the Kronak ship was like nothing they had ever seen. Bioluminescent panels pulsed weakly, struggling to function in the aftermath of the EMP. Strange, tendril-like structures snaked along the walls, a fusion of technology and organic matter. As they moved deeper into the ship, they encountered their first Kronaks. The alien towered over them, its body a nightmarish blend of flesh and machine, but it moved sluggishly, clearly disoriented by the EMP's effects. Tremor didn't hesitate. His weapon fired, the modified rounds puncturing the Kronak's organic components. The alien fell with a metallic screech that echoed through the corridors. "Well," Tremor grunted, "at least we know they can die." They pressed on, fighting their way through increasingly hostile resistance. The Kronaks were recovering from the EMP faster than they had hoped, and soon the human boarding teams found themselves in pitched battles throughout the alien vessel. Glitch led her team towards what they believed to be the ship's central control node. As they rounded a corner, they came face to face with a group of Kronaks warriors, their weapons trained on the humans. Time seemed to slow. Glitch saw Tremor moving to shield the others, saw Jitters fumbling with the device she had been working on. In that moment, Glitch made a decision. She stepped forward, her hands raised. "Wait," she shouted, hoping the Kronak's translator was still functioning. "We know why you're here. We know you're dying." The Kronaks hesitated, their weapons still raised but not firing. Encouraged, Glitch pressed on. "Your organic components are failing. That's why you're attacking us, isn't it? You're looking for a cure." The lead Kronaks, a massive entity with more mechanical parts than its brethren, stepped forward. When it spoke, its voice was a harsh blend of synthetic and organic sounds. How do you know this?" Glitch gestured to Jitters. "Our medical officer figured it out. We've been studying your biology since you arrived." The Kronak's leader's mechanical eyes wared as it focused on Jitters. You can help us." Jitters swallowed hard but stepped forward. I think so. Your cybernetics are incredible, but they're rejecting your organic tissue. If we could find a way to stabilize the interface." For a long moment, nobody moved. The fate of two species hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of understanding or annihilation. Then, slowly, the Kronaks lowered their weapons. The leader spoke again, its voice carrying a note of something almost like hope. "We have traveled far, consumed many worlds in our search for salvation. Never have we encountered a species that offered aid instead of resistance at the end." Glitch felt a weight lift from her shoulders. "Well," she said with a wry smile, "we're full of surprises. Now, what do you say we stop trying to kill each other and start working on keeping you alive?" As human and Kronaks moved cautiously towards cooperation, Glitch couldn't help but marvel at the twist of fate. They had prepared for a battle to the death, only to find themselves on the brink of a historic peace. The real work was just beginning. There would be challenges ahead, cultural misunderstandings, lingering mistrust, and the monumental task of finding a cure for the Kronaks' condition. But as Glitch looked at her team, Tremor's stoic nod, Jitters' excited chatter, as she compared notes with a Kronak scientist, and the disbelieving but approving look from Commander Reeves over the comlink, She knew they were up for the challenge. The outcasts of Zeta-9 had not only saved their outpost, but possibly changed the course of galactic history. And they had done it not through superior firepower or tactical brilliance, but through the very qualities that had made them misfits in the first place. Glitch's unconventional problem-solving, Tremor's protective instincts, and Jitter's obsessive attention to detail. As the Kronax leader guided them towards their medical bay, Glitch allowed herself a moment of reflection. The universe, it seemed, had a strange sense of humor. And sometimes, it took a band of reluctant heroes to show that the greatest victories came not from destroying your enemies, but from turning them into friends. Echoes of courage. The days following the unexpected truce between the humans of Outpost Zeta-9 and the Kronax fleet were a whirlwind of activity. The once quiet corridors of the station now buzzed with a mix of human and alien voices, the air thick with a potent blend of hope and apprehension. Glitch found herself at the center of it all, coordinating efforts between the human crew and their new Kronax allies. She stood in the newly repurposed main hangar, which had been transformed into a joint research facility. Banks of hastily assembled computers lined the walls, their screens displaying a dizzying array of biological and mechanical data. "How's it going, Jitters?" Glitch asked, approaching the doctor who was hunched over a console, deep in conversation with a Kronax scientist. Jitters looked up, her eyes bright with excitement despite the dark circles beneath them. "It's incredible, Glitch. The Kronax cybernetics are like nothing we've ever seen. If we can crack this, it could revolutionize human medicine too." The Kronax scientist, who had introduced itself as Dexphora, added in its metallic voice, "Your Dr. Patel's insights are most valuable. We had not considered the possibility of using organic compounds to mediate the cybernetic rejection." Glitch smiled, a surge of pride warming her chest. Jitters, once paralyzed by her anxieties, was now thriving in the face of this unprecedented scientific challenge. A heavy hand landed on Glitch's shoulder, and she turned to see Tremor's hulking form. The security officer's face bore fresh scars from the boarding action, but his eyes were calm. "Perimeter checks all clear," he reported. "And you'll be happy to know that the Kronax engineers have some interesting ideas for upgrading our weapons systems. Turns out they're not so bad when they're not trying to kill us." Glitch chuckled. "Look at you, making friends. Never thought I'd see the day." Tremor shrugged, a hint of a smile tugging at his lips. "Yeah, well, don't get used to it. I still got a reputation to maintain." Their banter was interrupted by the arrival of Commander Reeves, accompanied by the Kronax leader they now knew as Sovereign Kraz. The odd pair approached, and Glitch couldn't help but marvel at how quickly things had changed. "Chen," Reeves nodded, her tone respectful. "Sovereign Kraz has some news." The Kronax leader's mechanical eyes whirred as it focused on Glitch. "We have received word from our home fleet. News of our collaboration has spread. There is much confusion, but also hope. For the first time in generations, our people dare to dream of a future beyond mere survival." Glitch felt the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. "That's good to hear, Sovereign. But I suspect there's more." Kraz nodded, its metallic frame creaking slightly. "Indeed. Our leaders wish to open formal diplomatic channels with your Earth government. They are intrigued by the possibility of peaceful coexistence." Commander Reeves stepped forward, "Which brings us to our next challenge. Starfleet Command has ordered us to prepare for the arrival of a diplomatic team. They'll be here within the week." Glitch's mind raced with the implications. A week? But we've barely scratched the surface of understanding Kronax biology. "And the station is a mess," Reeves finished for her. "I know. That's why I'm putting you in charge of getting us ready, Chen. You've earned it." For a moment, Glitch was speechless. She looked around at her team. Jitters engrossed in her work, Tremor standing tall and proud, the rest of the Zeta-9 crew working seamlessly alongside their former enemies. They had come so far from being the outcasts, the troublemakers sent to a forgotten outpost. "I thank you, Commander," Glitch finally managed. We won't let you down." The next few days were a blur of activity. Glitch threw herself into the preparations, coordinating repairs to the station, organizing the research data, and helping to set up suitable accommodations for the incoming diplomatic team. Through it all, she marveled at how her ragtag crew rose to every challenge. Jitters, once crippled by social anxiety, now confidently led briefings on Kronax biology. Tremor, the man who solved every problem with his fists, showed surprising diplomatic skills as he worked out security protocols that made both humans and Kronax comfortable. And the rest of the Zeta-9 crew, once content to while away their days on a backwater outpost, worked tirelessly to turn their home into a symbol of interspecies cooperation. On the eve of the diplomatic team's arrival, Glitch found herself in the station's observation lounge, staring out at the stars. The Kronax fleet, once a terrifying sight, now floated peacefully alongside Zeta-9. It was a view that would have been unthinkable just a week ago. She heard footsteps behind her and turned to see Tremor and Jitters approaching. The three of them stood in comfortable silence for a moment, taking in the view. "Hell of a week, huh?" Tremor finally said, his gruff voice soft. Jitters nodded, fidgeting with her datavat. "I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and find out this was all some strange dream." Glitch smiled. "If it is a dream, it's one we all shared, and made real through sheer stubbornness." "You know," Tremor mused, "I always hated being sent out here. Felt like a punishment. But now it feels like we were meant to be here." Jitters finished for him. "Like all our quirks and flaws were exactly what was needed." Glitch felt a lump form in her throat. "I couldn't have done any of this without you. Both of you. All of you," she added, thinking of the entire Zeta-9 crew. Their moment was interrupted by Commander Reeves' voice over the comm. "Chen, we've got incoming. The diplomatic shuttle will be docking in 20 minutes. "Copy that, Commander. We're on our way," Glitch replied. She turned to her friends. "Well, shall we go make history?" As they walked towards the docking bay, Glitch felt a sense of pride and purpose she had never known before. They had faced an alien threat and found not just victory, but understanding. They had turned enemies into allies, and in doing so, perhaps changed the course of galactic history. The docking bay was filled with a mix of human crew members and Kronax representatives when they arrived. Commander Reeves stood at the forefront, with Sovereign Kraz by her side. As the diplomatic shuttle eased into the bay, Glitch took her place next to them, Tremor and Jitters flanking her. The shuttle's door hissed open, and a team of smartly dressed diplomats emerged, their eyes wide as they took in the scene before them. Glitch stepped forward, ready to greet them and begin the next chapter in this unprecedented adventure. As she did, she caught sight of their reflections in the shuttle's polished hull. There they stood, the troublemaker, the brute, and the nervous wreck, now the heroes of Zeta-9. Glitch couldn't help but smile. They were still misfits, still square pegs in round holes. But sometimes, she realized, it took oddly shaped pieces to bridge the gap between worlds. The fate of two species now rested in their hands. And as Glitch began the introductions, she knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. For they had learned the greatest lesson of all, that true courage wasn't about being fearless, but about finding strength in each other's weaknesses. The reluctant vanguard of Zeta-9 had risen to the occasion, turning a potential tragedy into a triumph of understanding and cooperation. And in doing so, they had proven that sometimes the most unlikely heroes were the ones who shone brightest when the universe needed them most. As the diplomats and Kronax leaders began their historic meeting, Glitch shared a knowing look with Tremor and Jitters. Their journey was far from over, but whatever the future held, they would face it as they had faced everything else. Together, as the improbable heroes they had become. The stars outside seemed to shine a little brighter that day, as if the universe itself was celebrating this unexpected turn of events. And in the heart of Outpost Zeta-9, a group of once reluctant misfits stood tall, ready to guide humanity into a new era of interstellar cooperation and understanding.